In this video, we're going to look at the question, why does God allow temptation? And some probably would have a related question. Why did he put a tree of forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden? And maybe to extend it even further, why is it that God allowed Satan to be in the garden and interact with Adam and Eve? Now, those are big questions, and we're going to try to address them briefly. But we need to recognize that the trademark of creation is that living things go from infancy to maturity. Whether it's an amoeba or a lion, everything goes through that process. Now, in the spiritual realm, a similar kind of thing occurs, but it's not infancy to maturity, it's innocence to holiness. Now, innocence is the absence of having experienced the bad things of life, troubles, hardship, heartache, and most importantly, temptation. When you're innocent, you haven't faced any moral dilemmas, any spiritual questions of loyalty. Now, when it comes to holiness, holiness is the maturity that one comes to or arrives at when they've made the determination over a period of time that they are going to be loyal to God and His Word or His will, no matter what. Holiness is the working out in life the determination that I am completely loyal to God, both to His Word as well as to His will. Now, holiness is developed in micro and macro decisions that are made along the way. Whether it's facing this temptation that's huge or that temptation which is not so great, but it's deciding that I will do what God says and I will follow Him regardless of what anyone else may say or do. Go from innocence to holiness. There must be a rejection of something, temptation, and the acceptance of something else, God, His will, His Word, His determination for what we are to do. Now, Jesus is declared in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, as the pioneer of our faith. He showed us the way to holiness by rejecting temptation again and again, going through the trials and troubles and hardships of life, and remaining loyal to God the Father no matter what. Jesus proved to us that there is a way of living a good and holy life, of going from innocence to holiness. Jesus battled against temptation to reach holiness, to develop into the maturity that God expected of Him if He was going to bring salvation to the world. Now we see this movement in infancy to maturity of battling throughout nature, all of creation, at least among living things. Birds and reptiles and amphibians, they fight through a shell to get out and develop. And if a bird, someone breaks open the shell to allow the bird to escape, that bird will not survive. It has to go through troubles and trials to grow up. Mammals, human beings, fight to leave the womb. It is a battle. When you see a baby that's been born, it's a battle to leave the womb and come out and face the world. Fighting, struggling is a natural part of life. And if we're to grow up, we have to go through it. And to reach maturity as one of God's people, You have to fight against temptation if you're going to grow up, if you're going to reach holiness. If you're going to do well in karate, you have to battle against opponents and become successful. If you're going to be an electrician, a master electrician, you've got to troubleshoot. You've got to figure out where the problems are and solve the issues that are behind them. Medical students have to figure out why disease or physical issues have come about, and they have to fight against them. We see this battle in life everywhere. To grow to maturity, you have to fight against something. You have to overcome problems and issues. And the most important issue to overcome when it comes to spiritual maturity is temptation. The mindset of holiness is described perfectly by Joshua as he gave his call to arms, so to speak, for the people of Israel to move towards holiness. He said, it doesn't matter what anybody else may do, what choices others may make. Me, my family, we're going to battle against temptation. He put it this way, but if it doesn't please you to worship the Lord, choose for yourselves today, which will you worship? The gods of your ancestors, worshipped beyond the Euphrates River, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living? As for me and my family, we will worship the Lord. To grow towards spiritual maturity, you have to fight against temptation. And that temptation may come through people that you love, that you care about, but who have gone against the ways of God and are no longer loyal to his word. Jesus reached holiness by battling against the temptations of Satan. God's way for you is not for you to remain in innocence, where you never experience anything tough. You never go up against anything difficult. You don't face temptations. The way to holiness is to encounter the temptations that come your way and fight against them, reject them, and choose loyalty to God above all. Why did God have the temptation tree in the garden? The testing tree, the forbidden fruit. It's because God wanted Adam and Eve to move out of innocence and into holiness, to reject temptation, and to choose loyalty to God above all. The tree was there to give Adam and Eve the choice. Will we follow God, or will we live separately from him, doing our will, following our choice of a way of life? Why was Satan in the garden? It's because Satan was used by God to provide Adam and Eve the choice. Will we follow God loyally, or will we turn away from him? Now, I'm not going to get into the rejection of Satan of God and the ramifications of that, but I want to make this clear, that God let Satan be in the garden so that Adam and Eve would make the choice. Not the choice to sin, but the choice to be loyal to God and to move into holiness.